Happy New Year Eve. 66 degrees. My child is getting out of work early today, but he still has to work tomorrow and Friday. He's off Saturday. He works Sunday again, and Monday and Tuesday. So, but at least he's off Saturday, right? So I have no plans tonight. No invites, no plans, no anything. And you know what? I was feeling kind of down about it at first. I was like, wow, like nobody invited me to their home or anything like that. Not even the in-laws, the outlaws. Nobody. And so I was just like, wow. Not even my cousin. My cousin was telling me, oh yeah, we're going to go to my mom's, my boyfriend and I, and we're going to have pozole. And my mom ate, I love pozole. I love that more than menudo, to be honest. But whatever. And yeah, I guess my invite got lost in the mail. Per usual, my invites keep getting lost in the mail. I'm going to have to go see the post office like on Monday or something. Or contact Yahoo. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm just being cute. So I noticed, though, that my neighbor right next door to me, he's been home all day. In fact, he's still home right now. I figured he would have plans, or have his kids over or something, But no, he's been there. I went and I picked up a pizza earlier for my son and I to kind of like celebrate before he came into work, because he knows I don't eat this late. And the pizza was kind of greasy. The crust was good. It was garlicky. It was from Domino's, but the pizza itself was really greasy. Excuse me. Let me get some water really quick. Then I did my bike. My usual routine. Yeah, that was me. I was too close to the car in front of me. They stopped all of a sudden for no reason. Anyhow, and that's when I started to feel really down and teary-eyed, especially when I was taking a shower. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, rather than thinking about not having any plans or food, to celebrate with families and everybody else, I'm going to be grateful for what I do have. Like, I have a home that I'm living in. It's not a house, it's an apartment, but it's still a home. I'm not homeless. Thank God. We do have food in the refrigerator. Thank God. We were able to celebrate with pizza today. Thank God, and I have my health. Thank God for that too. I finished a treatment that I had to be doing. I finished it yesterday. It was my last dose. And it's very personal. I'm not going to share it, but it was my last dose yesterday. It was a 30-day treatment that I had to do, mind you. And I started like during Thanksgiving week, and yesterday was finally my last dose, and I was so happy because I'm like, thank you. Like, now I don't have to worry about taking these medications, anymore, and now I just need to let my body do the rest, to settle in, reset, and just let it do its thing. And I was also thinking about the message that I heard this past Sunday at church, even though it upset me that I couldn't see the stage or the screen because of a person that was sitting in front of me. But I was still able to listen and jot down some notes. And one of the scriptures that the doctor mentioned, Dr. Milton, is the one that gave the service, and I shared it on my community post. is that when he was talking about David, and David says, "Search my heart, O Lord." That is something that I used to say, and I need to get back to, because I do want God to search my heart and search for anything that's unclean and get rid of it. Get rid of it. Like, I noticed that I became so intolerable of people towards the end of this year. Like, I didn't have any patience going anywhere anymore, and I just like really started to dislike people a lot. Everywhere I went, I'm like, ugh, there's people, ugh. You know, like, I can't stand these people, and look at the way they're standing, and look at the way they're sitting, and look at the way they're getting in the way, and why don't they just go away, and everything. And I was being very, very critical, very, very bitter. And that's not the kind of heart that I want. And obviously, I was saying all these things and thinking all these things because there was something going on inside me not being happy. I wasn't happy because I had to take these antibiotics. I came down with something and I had to take these antibiotics to get better. And the process seems so long to me. And I would be running late to church, you know, and I would still make it there by 10 o'clock when the service would start, but I would be running late, and it would frustrate me getting all the way over there. And all I kept thinking was like, oh, there's so much traffic, and I'm so much farther from church now. Before, when I lived at the other place, I was so much closer, and now I had to deal with all this traffic and going on. And it was just me feeding that ugly part rather than the good part. And another thing that Dr. Milton said is that instead of setting goals this coming year, like everybody has their resolution, like, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to cut back on expenses, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get out of debt, which are all good goals. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Some of those goals are my goals, you know. But most of the time when we write those down, we give up within the first week or two. And we don't look at it anymore. And then we keep going on through life in that bitter moment, you know. And so what he said was, instead of setting goals and resolutions, why not ask God to heal you where you need healing? Wow, that really hit me. Because I was thinking, like, I do need healing. Not just in my body, but my mind and my emotions. 2025 has been very challenging for me. It started out very challenging. And it's been one challenge after another after another. It's been a roller coaster, actually, because there are a lot of bad things that would happen, and then it would go up to good, and then it would go back down to bad, and then up to good. I mean, I got this fabulous car, you know, we're paying on it. Didn't buy it in cash. I wish we had, you know, if we had the money. But, and then my husband got a truck. He's going to get some rims, you know. But what I'm saying is that either way, it's had more downs than ups, but we're still here. We're still standing. We're still believing. We're not giving up. And so back to what I was talking about with my neighbor being alone today, and I'm alone, and my other neighbor with a dog is alone, you know, the insufferable neighbor. She's alone with her dog right now too, and I'm thinking, man, you know, I wish I could just knock on their door and say, like, hey, come on over. You know, we'll make some buñuelos, I think that's what you call them, and we'll, you know, have some leftover pizza, you know, I got a little bit of vodka still left and cranberry juice. Let's celebrate, you know? But maybe there's something that they're trying to work within themselves as well. And sometimes that's what we need. We need that time to ourselves on an eve like this. It doesn't have to be about all the hype. Sometimes it's God calling us to be alone with Him so He can actually begin the work that He's been wanting to do in us for a very long time, but we just never settled down. We kept thinking, no, we got to celebrate. We got to go out with a bang. We got to make sure that everybody's happy. And we get lost in that moment and forget about what's really, really important, which is Him. It sounds so cliche, but Jesus should be the reason. He's not a season. He's not just on December. Jesus is every day of our walking life. Every waking moment of our life, and even as we sleep. Jesus is always and should always be the reason. So if you're alone out there right now, you're spending your New Year's Eve alone, and you're thinking, man, I have nobody, I feel so bad for myself, don't. Don't, because the rest of us that are alone tonight are with you in spirit. And we're praying for each other. And we're lifting the Most High up. And we should get ready ourselves for what's to come. Because believe you me, it's going to be big. Those blessings are going to start running us over, even at midnight tonight. That protection, that hedge of protection is on each and every one of us. And if He is for us, what can come against? And greater is He that is in us than he that is in the world. So it's not about the world celebrating the new year. It's not about New Year's Eve, Rockin' Eve, whatever. It's not about popping champagne or the vodka, whatever your poison is, you know. It's all about Him. It's about us praying for each other and preparing ourselves for what's to come. Are you ready for what's to come? If you're not ready, well, then you're not going to get it this coming year then. You're going to have to wait again. What do I mean by that? I mean, are you ready to set all this stuff aside already? All this hype, all this loneliness, all this sickness, everything that the world has offered and has to offer. Are you ready to set all that aside and accept what God has for you? Are you ready to accept God if you haven't already? Are you ready to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior if you haven't already? It's all about Him. So with that said, I love you all. I'm wishing everybody lots of happiness, wholeness, complete health, prosperity, blessing upon blessing upon blessing, protection, healing, and love. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. And I will talk to you all again next year.